welcome to my channel. My name is Meredith Mynrose. I'm a universal healer and a peace visionary, and today I'll be doing a universal astrology message for the sign of Cancer. So I've already pre-shuffled, but I'm still gonna shuffle again. I hope the beautiful people of Cancer are doing well. So this is a monthly universal astrology message for anyone who resonates to the sign of Cancer. Personally, for me, my Venus is in Cancer, so that applies into my relationship of attracting mummy boys. So I'm not too sure on because Cancer can be in different houses in your astrology chart. Some people will have Cancer in their house. What was it? 10th house. 10th house is like the house of career, right? Because I kind of like look it up. I am not an astrology aficionado, but it's always been an area that I have interest in. When I was a teenager or in my college times, at one point of time I wanted to do a fashion design idea mirroring astrology signs. Like, what should different astrology signs wear for their signs? Like, what color, what style? Like, you know, boho chick is usually Sagittarius, or like, you know, when somebody is preppy, and that's like Gemini. Preppy and chic is like Gemini. Some posh would be Scorpio posh, and then like glitter would be maybe Cancer. I can just imagine already glitters and Cancers, which makes sense because I had this one friend who used to have this kind of like jewelry store where I think she's either Cancer or Pisces, and she bejewels everything, and she makes like her own design with Swarovski crystals. So that's kind of cool. So that's a little bit about me, and this applies if it resonates to areas in the sign Cancer. So far I haven't had well, I do have one or two in previous readings about a very on point message. The first one I did 3 months ago was "End the Love Scam." It's like relationship scam. The Cancers are so loving and so giving that they don't realize that people are just using them for emotional soothingness, which makes sense to me too. People use me for emotional soother, but I didn't see it happening all throughout high school as well. So let's actually go into your personal reading for the month of June 2019 for the sign of Cancer, wherever it applies in your chart. Okay, I just want to say, if it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, then maybe next month will be your message. Okay, first card is the Knight of Swords, and then you have another Knight of Pentacles, and you have the Moon, you have the Lovers, you have the Queen of Pentacles, you have Four of Wands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The last one is Ace of Wands. Okay, and I'll be doing another. I'm just going to take out the Unicorn card and shuffle it out. So what I figure from here, I'm sensing relationship again, perhaps. Knight of Swords, taking action, voicing, verbalizing your boundaries, and the Knight of Pentacles is like. And you have the Moon and the Lovers. The Moon and the Lovers. The Lovers is reversed. the Queen of Pentacles reverse. I feel like this is also another love scam energy. I'm not sure if I kind of like drag the past energy into your reading. Oops. But if it's a divine message, then maybe it's a divine message. Four of Wands and Ace of Wands. It's a pricey lesson I'm hearing. It's a very pricey lesson for you. It is a very pricey lesson. Knight of Swords. Let me shuffle out the unicorn because I'm not getting a specific situation yet. Pricey lesson. Okay. First, celebration. So that matches this card for one celebration. So you're definitely celebrating something by the end of the month or by the third week of the month. And you have the card Adventure. Maybe this is the Knight of Pentacles. It's like adventure, traveling during full moon or something. Meeting a person or abandoning meeting that person. And you have the gentleness. We're gonna pull out the dragon card. So celebration, adventure, and gentleness. Are you guys going on a trip? Are you guys going on a journey? Are you guys... Okay, a deep blue dragon fallout. Keeps you safe by clearing your pathway. Trust that you are protected. Walk on the path of light. Walk on the path of light. And this card. This is like, this is a path. You see that. And then walk off a path. Walk on a path of light. Somehow, in this full moon this month in June, I think new moon is like in a few days, and then full moon is like 2 weeks after that. So you have probably like 2.5 weeks until full moon, and then you get into third week. So a week after full moon, you may have something to celebrate about. I don't know what this is about yet, but it's Queen of Pentacles, so it might talk about money. Knight and then Queen of Pentacles. Okay, I think like I can see something here. The Knight of Pentacles, you might have an idea about money that you're going to be able, it's like maybe you can turn $100 into $1,000 because you're walking on this path of light. Because also this card is actually reverse, is the Lovers. If it's upright, it has dual meanings. It can be about relationship or taking a different route, another path, knowing which path to take. So I think that you know which path to take because you have vocalized a decision that you've made clear to yourself, and you've taken that path, and you are carrying your personal values into that path of light, being shined by the moonlight. And you're gonna go on a new adventure where you know how to traverse the world without being bombarded by false love anymore. Maybe you already learned in the past few months about love scam, about how people would ask you for nurture and ask you for empathy and ask you all this gentle attention to give it to them, but you realize that you get to choose who you love and who has the honor to reciprocate love to you, and you're celebrating some new home journey, a home, maybe it's a spiritual home, maybe it's an old home, maybe it's some sort of maybe you're moving to a new home, maybe you're visiting an old home. Okay. Silver Dragon illuminates your potential with higher light. Access untapped resources, look into your soul and see higher possibilities. And then the other card is Water Dragon, helps you float easily around obstacles. Christ, light, and love are flowing. Develop your psychic abilities and go with the flow. So you have 3 dragon cards. Flow. And then there's this card, Silver Dragon. Illuminates your potential with higher light. Access untapped resources, look into your soul and see higher possibilities. So I think it might be about your either financial, career, relationship. You're being asked to because you already know what is your value. You're being asked to see higher possibilities. And because from the Knight of Pentacles, you are going to turn into the Queen of Pentacles. It can be either a woman or a man, it's fine. And this can either be a king or a queen, it's fine. Okay. So, let's see. Gentleness. Be kind to yourself and others. Honor your gentleness. Speak words of love. Okay, speak words of love. So, somewhere in here, you're learning to love yourself in a way that accepts other people's quirks without feeling that you have to entertain those quirks, or you have to soothe other people's quirks, or having the need to emotionally nurture other people's quirks, other people's neglect, other people's emotional issues. You no longer carry your heart on your sleeve. You don't go around giving your heart in exchange of taking other people's pain. And I feel that is an issue with some of the Cancer. You care so much that you give your heart to other people, and you're not gentle to yourself. And maybe you're too sensitive to other people's feelings, that you don't recognize how you feel. And I think maybe for Cancer, your spiritual growth and journey on this planet Earth, if you resonate to the energy of Cancer, whether it applies to relationship, life, career, whichever houses that you that Cancer is in, your journey is to kind of like be sensitive to your emotions, and to be sensitive to your feelings, and to be aware of your feelings. And it's like you were born having the gauge, the motor, or the kind of like sensor to only sense other people's feelings around you. And you're learning to sense your feelings inside you, and you're learning to sense your needs inside you, and you're learning to sense your own visibility or your own requirements, and you're learning to separate how other people feels and what other people wants. And it is a very pricey lesson, and you're learning to separate despite how other people feel and what they want, what makes you feel good and what do you want, and how do you ground your water energy rather than kind of like watering everybody's emotional hole. How do you ground your emotional abundance into beingness that allows you to shower yourself with love and then spend on others? It's like you're this charitable emotional giver that keeps giving to the point of exhaustion, and then you become so isolated and self-deprecating vibe in a way that you unconsciously hate yourself, and you're like, this is the way life is. It's not the way life is, because eventually you will learn a very deep, pricey lesson to help you change. And maybe you've learned these deep, pricey lessons that help you change in the past 5 weeks. Perhaps you have. Yeah, I'm going to keep shuffling. I don't know if I shuffle enough. So, if that's you, Cancer, that's a big lesson, a costly lesson. Since this is your first card, right? Since this is your first card, you definitely have utilized your voice, your air element. So you've becoming more clear cut with your expression, and maybe you've exercised very enormous healthy boundaries, which is powerful and good and beautiful for you to see you doing that. Okay, so this is another 3 cards. Self-love. You got this card, self-love. You have a lot of self-love going on here. We have the Lovers, you have gentleness, to speak lovingly, maybe to yourself even more, so you have the card of self-love. Second one is focus. Focus on self-love. So focus on self-love. Oof. You have this card, darkness. What does that mean? So what I'm sensing is that perhaps when you've learned a very costly lesson, where when you're so exhausted of giving your emotions to other people, and you've gone through this period of time, maybe it's called dark night of the soul, and you've learned the importance of self-love, and you've learned to measure how much you give others and how much you give yourself, and you've learned to discern more of emotionally, like you've learned to discern your emotional boundaries, allowing you to only give what you can and not give what other people want, because what other people want may not necessarily be what you can give. Like if people want 50 hours of your time in one day, it's impossible, because then they're disrespectful and they're just losing their mind. They're maybe crazy, or they're ridiculous. So even if the world wants so much from you, you may have learned to discern, actually, I know myself, I'm not able to give that much to you. And you are feeling grounded in your healthier boundaries. And the dark night of the soul, or the long path of darkness you may have walked, the long path of darkness you may have walked. Maybe this coming full moon is going to help you become aware of the moon and the darkness, becoming aware of all the lessons that cost you a lot over the periods of time in your life. And I can sense how the Lovers card also have the energy of the sun behind it. This one. And you have a lot of yellows. You have a lot of sunny days. sunny days, sunny days, and sunny days. So there's a lot of yellow in your card. So you definitely have work with your solar plexus energy perhaps. And there's also this yellow sunset. And you have also some yellow in here, clearing your path. So you have pulled out 3 cards. So you've definitely learned a very tough, pricey lesson about self-love, perhaps. Okay, let's pull out the last 3 cards and then talk about these last 2 cards, Queen of Pentacles and Ace of Wands. So far, how am I doing? I hope that you resonate to it and can pick up certain key wisdoms to apply in your life. And may this universal astrology message give you a certain sense of clarity about your month in June. Okay, Cancer. Let's see what messages you have. What last message? Okay, got it. Oops. Why you have this card orphaned? Why you have a card orphaned and then milk and honey? You have milk and honey. Oh, and then you have yang. So solar plexus energy has been a real, I think some of you are cleansing your solar plexus energy, which is amazing because you are definitely building your personal power. In order to amplify your self-love, you need to build personal power. So let's see what number 5 means for the card. A sense of loss and identity crisis, recognizing you don't fit in, the need to belong, uncertainty about your place. As you shift and evolve and commit to your own growth, you long for support but may be disappointed and hurt by others who are not providing what you feel you deserve. Perhaps you are drifting away from this relationship because you're in a different stage of growth, of personal growth, and perhaps you are in a new relationship and discovering that you don't share the same values and beliefs, so you feel left out, unable to get that intimate place of safety and belonging. Take heart, as Spirit knows you and loves you, and will stir you in the direction of those who accept you as you are, without artifice or agenda. Don't compromise yourself to belong. So don't squeeze yourself into a box or a label just to fit in. It won't be worth the price, which you might have done to meet other people's specific agenda and specific desire or request or expectation. You've like abandoned self-love to be someone that other people want to love, rather than like leaving those relationships in order to persevere or preserve your sense of self-acceptance. And you may have like rejected your parts of yourself in order to fit in. Okay, the shadow side of this card speaks to the essence of abandonment. Perhaps you feel a need to remain apart because intimacy is too threatening. It also warns against creating inappropriate family structures in order to conceal old wounds. It's time to address the unhealthy alliance you form and make a decision to heal the past. You will not be abandoned by the world if you claim yourself as whole. Not all relationships are dysfunctional, and not all of them will disappoint you. Don't abandon yourself. You got the card self-love though. If you are still abandoning your needs, embrace self-love. It's a hard thing to do because, you know, if you've been programmed and you've been, you know, expected, because the energy of expecting certain people to be something is called a projection. And sometimes people expect you not to love yourself, and it could be you were raised in a toxic environment. Again, we're going to talk about inner child. So you may have like been expected to abandon self-care and self-love in the guise of sacrifice and loving other people to the point of self-sacrifice and self-deprecation and self-debilitating harm. And that's unhealthy. And you have to realize that some people will never be able to accept that you need to love yourself, that self-love is a human basic right. And how certain people in your past, or certain people who wants to keep expecting you to keep abandoning your self-love, to keep abandoning your self-care, they don't necessarily have the wise mindset, and they're not being wise and respectful that allow you to have personal power. And perhaps they're only projecting, those abusive people, they're only projecting their lack of personal power, and that's why they're so dependent on you, trying to make you, force you to meet their expectation. So if it's a love scam, or if it's a toxic family relationship, or if it's a toxic love relationship, you have to recognize other people's codependency onto you is actually a reflection on what you're also unconscious about yourself, about why are you unconsciously tolerating toxic people, why are you unconsciously being in the same environment as them. So sometimes, you know, like family relationships is hard to break or hard to neutralize or heal, but as you stand your ground and firmly state your output or express your personal power and boundaries, you get to like, you know, when you get to memorialize, or, you know, when people want to remember someone really, really great in their community, they will kind of like make a statue, right? So you get to like memorialize, you know, when you just want to build a memorial about how you love yourself, you would be able to do that with firm self-love, to recognize this is really important to you, to express who you are and what you're all about. Because no matter what people say, you're the only person responsible to change your future and your life. Either they want to support you or they don't want to support you, it's on them. But you're going to start realizing the manipulation or codependency or projection, even though it's subconscious, or even if it's reality, even if it's consciously, in physical reality, it's happening between you and them through words or actions. You have that power to dig deep into your soul and recognize where you need to place boundaries firmly, because you love yourself, because you care about yourself. Because if you don't care about yourself, who else will? So a lot of people, a lot of adults who have grown up, they're all finding other people to care for them if they're unhealthy. But if you cancers, you learn to firmly love yourself despite how other people try to perceive or expect you to not love yourself, or to abandon self-care, or to think that you don't deserve any good things happen to you. Even though the people around you may expect less of you, may think that you don't deserve certain things, they're only projecting their own lack of faith and fear and their own standards. you may have a different standards in life with them. Between you and them, you may have different standards, and you may have different values and different beliefs. So it's on you to recognize what you love and what you care about and what you really, really want to build or invite into your life in order for you to really take care of yourself. So the other card is Milk and Honey. It's time to address unhealthy alliances you form and make a decision to heal the past. You will not be abandoned by the world if you claim yourself as whole. So no one can abandon you if you don't abandon yourself. If you love yourself and care about yourself and take those actions that memorialize that you love yourself, you care about yourself, you're as important as the next person beside you or far away from you. It's like, I think there's this theme about basic human rights here, about you deserve to live on this earth, to do what you love to do, and to be surrounded by the people who respect you and don't want to scam you out of your love, or out of, like, you know, when people ask you for love and then they manipulate you to love them with whatever reasons that they string along, because maybe they're using pity party, maybe they're asking your humanity, because love scam, usually people would say, help me, I'm helpless, and then it makes you feel for them. But if that feeling was already formed out of toxic reason, made up reason, and perhaps that person is a lie, that person is a liar, or that person just don't tell the whole truth because they just want to have an easy life and having other people pay bills for them, or just like, you know, when someone is mooching off someone else and they're using sympathetic reasons to do so. So you're starting to realize that this love scam needs to end, and you have to learn to have this firm emotional boundary to vocalize and verbalize enough is enough, that you're going to protect your value and worth. You're going to protect your heart, your value, your worth. And you're going to ideally protect what you manifest. Protect what you manifest. You're going to ideally protect what you manifest, or protect what you create. So this is the energy of the yang. Let's see what number 51 says. It's Milk and Honey, so that's kind of nice. Wait, where is it? 52, 51. Opportunities born of authenticity. Nurturing abundance. Nurturing abundance. This is Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Money, Mula, Pentacles. Nurturing abundance. Milk and honey. Trusting that your needs will be met. You've entered a sweet time in your life. So somewhere between the 3rd week of this month, you're going to enter a sweet time in your life. Enjoying the land of milk and honey that everyone wants to experience is an interlude that feels more languid, or I don't know how to pronounce that, than ambitious, when all your senses are awake to the unlimited possibilities in the universe. These times are precious and only come when you're in your authentic zone. So I think some of you guys who have learned to vocalize your boundaries, who have learned to set your personal pace in life. You no longer follow other people's pace in life. Sometimes people's pace, they're like F1, Formula 1, fucking Zoom rider, motocross something, right? Like they speed car chases. Sometimes those people are at that pace, and sometimes other people are very slow pace, like turtle. But you're going to learn to move at your pace, and other people will have to put up with it because it's you, and you're not going to be manipulated to give overboard, to give too much, to go overboard, or to give too much. And you're no longer letting other people set the pace of your life. or set the tone of your life, or set the theme of your life, or set the worth of your life. Because you're becoming more authentic, you get to enjoy your milk and honey. You get to take the time to enjoy the scenery where you're at. You get to take the time to enjoy fresh air when you wake up in the morning, rather than rushing because somebody says, I need your help, my car's broken down, can you please come and pick me up because it's so urgent. Rather than respecting you, hello, how are you okay? Like, have you woken up? And then you're like, yeah, I'm good. Like, what's up? And then he say, you know, my car's broken down. Do you think you can help me? And that is a more respectable way of asking for help. Rather than pushing and emotionally kind of like blanketing the cancer, blanketing you people who have cancer signs with kind of like emotional force, emotional bombardment, which some abusive people may have done to certain cancers. And then you take it by your pace. You learn to take it by your pace. So okay. There's only one authentic you. This version of yourself is a spirit and mystery in the world. When you're in alignment with the truth that you are a unique expression of the divine, your ego can rest and your soul can illuminate your purpose. Now is the time when you're seeking your true north. Woohoo! When you find this direction, you automatically step into prosperity. What? Prosperity. And the world brings you evidence of abundance. Manifest. Abundance. Miracles are a choice and a way of seeing the world. With every choice you make right now, you have the potential to seize good fortune and embrace your destiny. Opportunities will lead you to your best life now. Be open to them and you're getting a sweet taste of what you want. Because you no longer kind of like being bombarded by other people's expectation of you, and you're learning to self-love and self-care, and you're putting these firm boundaries and firm feelings that is important to you. This is important to me, that's important to me, and you're learning to take it slow. You're learning to pull in your power rather than make your power bleed from your power center. You're learning to rein the energy rather than kind of like be very willless without a will. And where is the other card? As you focus on self-care and self-love, you're learning to create yang. Let's do number 1. You're learning to projects, partnership, and all matters relating to your business are out of the obstacle phase and on to make it happen phase. Now is the time to stake your claim and get things done. While you can expect to be busier than usual, the card tells you that you have all the energy and vitality. You will have all the energy and vitality you need to accomplish your goals. Abundance is waiting for you to claim it. So definitely there's abundance, because from this Knight of Pentacles, this Queen of Pentacles appears. The masculine principle of movement and creative activity. This is movement, action and movement. Knight of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, action and movement. The power to make things happen, taking action. This is also an energy of manifestation, Ace of Wands, materialization, creation. So something that you're happening to you guys on this month June, you are choosing the path of self-love to take care of what you value, to take care of what you love, and you're going to have an adventure. You're going to have an adventure by the 3rd to 4th week. The full moon is, today is like 3rd, so in a few days is new moon, I think. and then 2 weeks after that is full moon. I think it is. Is it 2 weeks or 4 weeks? Yeah, I think it's like every 2 weeks, because 4 weeks, 2 weeks is new moon, 2 weeks is to get to full moon, it takes 2 weeks. Okay guys, so I hope this message has helped you to understand and receive some clarity about how important self-love is. It costs you a lot. I don't actually know what happened towards you that made you learn that lesson, but it's very pricey. Learning self-love is so pricey, but eventually you will get it, you will learn it, because every soul on this planet Earth is meant to evolve. Everyone is learning on a spiritual soul level, whether they know or they don't know. Experience in life is like that. You know, the mile mark in life. So you're gonna go through a good celebration. You're gonna have a good so there is a positive note on the third and a half week before the month ends. You're going to be able to see how your self-love is manifesting a healthier value for you in your life, because as you firmly plant those boundaries, firmly assess your vulnerability and how other people are dependent on you, and then you kind of like check in with yourself, like why is these people expecting so much from you? Where am I not standing in my power? And then you're learning to stand in your power, and then you're learning to be firm with your emotions, and then you're learning to vocalize your feelings and to be clear cut with what you expect and what you are limited and capable of doing. And you explain, you say what you mean, and you say your limit, and you inform people your boundaries, and whether they like it or not, you're going to do it at your pace. And that's a firm self-love where you set the pace in your life, and as you learn to set the pace in your life, to set the tone of your life, to set the projection of your life, and you're in control of your life projection from your solar plexus, from your power center, and from your personal power. You get to move at your own pace. Like if a crab is in control of the water motion from the tides coming to the sand beaches, right? He will dig into that hole and bury himself, and he won't be washed by the water. So the crab has to become aware of the tide coming in, of the people's codependency, and to kind of like anchor down deeper in its personal power, and recognize that even the smallest crab by the beach during a stormy weather or something, he has the power to go into the sand, to plant his roots down, and firmly believe that he's not going to be wiped out by the stormy tides or the ocean of life. Just like you Cancers, people who are Cancers here, the sign of Cancer, you have the power to stand in your power, to ground in your firm self-love, and not to be pushed around by other people's expectation of give, and you control what you give, and you control what you can do, and you control where you can go, and you control what you want in your life. If other people don't want the same thing, you just feel safe enough to say, then there's nothing here for me. If I'm not enjoying my time with you, if you're asking me to change who I am, then you know this is not a healthy relationship, and I'm done with what you're offering because it's not valuable enough for me to stay. So you leave relationships, you leave dependent relationships where it doesn't help you grow, but it kind of like make you kind of like run down. It makes you powerless. Because you're not powerless, you have this emotion, you have a very strong water energy. You're born in a natural element of water. And when you really conquer that water energy, nobody mess with you emotionally. Cancer. So Cancer, I hope that this message helps you. If you want your own personal reading, which is either a psychic reading or a universal healing session with me, you can check out my website and book a session. A psychic reading is where I just pull out like 5 or 10 cards. There's also like 3 cards if you have like a specific question. And universal healing is where I get real deep with issues that you want to talk about, where you want some clarity and assistance and guidance. So if you want to work with me, check out my website and book an appointment. We'll sort out the details for the time. We're going to do it either Skype or Zoom. And thank you for being here, for spending your time with me to know about your June reading for the sign of Cancer. I will see you next month, if not earlier, if you're watching a different sign universal astrology message astrology videos. So take care. My name is Meredith Mynrose. I'm a universal healer and a peace visionary. I will see you another time. For now, take care. Goodbye.